Hi, I'm Denshi, and in today's comfy guide, I'm going to be talking about making videos. Now, I first started making videos when I was 10 years old. I created a YouTube channel with two of my best friends, and I kept running it up until around 2018. Now, since then, with those 7 years of experience, I've learned a vast amount of things. In fact, it doesn't really do it justice trying to smush all of that into a single video like this. And that's why today I'm holding one of these. It's a notebook. You may have heard of it. It's made of paper. And it contains a few notes regarding what I think is most important when making videos. Now, I don't usually use notes. Most of my videos, in fact, almost all of them are unscripted. Even my most research-heavy videos, like my Liquid Chris video, my Alex Henriel video, the most I'll do is write a few bullet points about what happens when and dates and stuff like that. But I won't seriously write a script which I read verbatim. The reason for this is because I make my videos in what's called a conversational style. There's also conversational writing, which is when you write things to be conversational, to be like I'm talking directly to you. But that's just the way I've always made the videos. That's always how I felt YouTube videos should be made, because I'm talking directly to you, the person watching this right now. That was just something I wanted to throw in there at the beginning, because a lot of people are kind of put off or surprised when they see that sort of style of video which I make. I wanted to make it clear to anyone who's a bit confused that the reason for that is because all my videos are unscripted. Except this one, apparently, because I've got a few bullet points on a piece of paper in a notebook. Let's start with the first one of these points, which is to not be afraid of work. If you want to make videos, you should not be afraid of editing. You shouldn't be afraid of recording. You shouldn't be afraid of any of that. That's a given, of course. But you shouldn't be afraid of working a lot on all of those things. The reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people nowadays talk about overworking. Now, in the context of most real-life, quote-unquote, jobs, overworking is a very clear and concise thing. You know, there's a guy and he works up until 10 p.m. or even 12 a.m. at the office just to get those extra hours to get more money to support his family. Maybe there's a single mother working multiple jobs to support her family. There are situations like that in real life, and overworking can seriously damage somebody's health. But I don't want to give you a PSA here. That's not what I'm here for. YouTube is different. Odyssey is different. Video making is just different. Overworking is fundamental to what you're doing. Not the sort of overworking where you damage your health, of course. Not the sort of overworking where you ruin your entire life just to make a video. But the sort of overworking that I guess you could say a rational utilitarian would view as overworking. To someone like that, any work that doesn't give you reward is overworking. YouTube will not reward you for your work. It will reward you for appealing to what people want to watch. It will reward you for giving the platform something it can sell, which in my case apparently was a video about a notorious Chris Chan troll, or a video where I talk about installing a Linux distribution. Those weren't my first successful videos on YouTube, of course, but every video still counts. Everything you make, if you want to make videos, is valuable. And never gain a mindset where you only value a video because it succeeds, because if you do that, you'll run your channel into the ground. The second big tip I have is don't hate your work. This might sound very similar to don't work too much, but it's sort of a different thing. Some people work hours and hours on YouTube videos. Some people make them in like 5 minutes. The point is that you should like doing it, but more importantly, you shouldn't hate it. I'll admit I hate a few of my videos. I don't like all of them. There's some which I'm embarrassed of because of poor production. There's some I legitimately do not understand anymore. Like, why did I make that? You'll have situations like that. But if it gets to a point where you despise every single thing you create, then something's wrong. This brings me perfectly to the third point, which is that you should change. If you go to my video list on my channel and sort by oldest, you'll notice that I'm pretty much unrecognizable at the beginning of my YouTube era, YouTube career, whatever you want to call it. My first video, which is aptly named YouTube, was uploaded exactly a year ago, on April 25th, 2019. Since then, most of my videos are, as you can see, in a similar style. White thumbnail, maybe yellow text at some point. These were actually made in Microsoft 3D Paint, by the way, which is why the drawings look a bit weird. Now, if you keep scrolling down, you'll notice I basically do the exact same thing up until around the better part of a year, which is when I decided to quit and change formula. I think my best video I've ever made during this first year or so of effort was this 1920s in America video, if you want to check that one out. It was made for a history class, and I remember my teacher being very impressed with it, which is probably one of the best moments of my life. It's not that special a video, but you know, I put some level of effort into it, and it was very embarrassing to go up to the class and pull up my YouTube channel and pull this up, you know, in front of all the other kids. It was like 9th grade history. That wasn't the end of DenshiVideo, of course. I kept making videos and I kept changing. That's the point I want to make. Over time, you'll change formula, you'll change, if you even have one, you'll change your tone, you will physically change, you'll get older, your voice will change, making you almost unrecognizable. But change is literally useless if you're not keeping in mind another important point which I have noted down on this paper, which is to be unique. When I make a guide, I don't just call it a guide, I call it a comfy guide. When I talk about the internet history, I don't just call it internet history, I call it wide web world. When I do anything, I have to give it some kind of flair. That applies to anyone who wants to do anything creative. You have to give it some originality. Something as simple as a different name. It can affect the tone of what you're doing. It can affect how people perceive it. If I named everything boring stuff, if I gave boring names to everything I did, then people would perceive it as boring. But beyond any of that, you can't just think about videos. I mean, of course, there's the obvious, oh yeah, health, oh yeah, school, oh yeah, work. That's fundamentals, that goes without saying. But there's more to just videos than to creativity. I've made websites, I've made music, I've made lots of things over the years that are creative outlets just as much as my videos. And people have enjoyed those as well. And in fact, my videos act as a platform for me to, you know, promote lots of what I'm doing. If it wasn't for my videos, nobody would have probably ever seen my website or my music. In fact, just the other day, I sold my first album. The money probably isn't going anywhere because I don't use PayPal, but somebody actually spent money on me. Not to mention the donations I've received through Monero, for which I'm basically infinitely grateful. The last point I have here is a bit of a specific, maybe a bit controversial one, but it's try to maintain a barrier between viewer and publishing. Like, I've made this mistake before. Every time I get on my phone to check my messages, every time I open Matrix, I open XMPP, I open Discord, I'm reminded of my YouTube status. I'm reminded of, because I run public channels, I run public chat rooms like XMPP chat rooms and stuff like that for people who watch DenshiVideo, opening those programs reminds me, hey, you make videos. And that's damaging because it gives me this feeling of having to be constantly on, constantly active, constantly ready to help people with their latest tech issue or something like that. That's not a good mentality. So I'm just going to go and say it. If you're starting a channel, if you're doing any of that, avoid stuff like making a Matrix space or a Discord server or something like that. It's a bad idea. I keep mine up because I think they're useful for tech support, but trust me, I have everything there muted. If you want to contact me, shoot me an email. Don't use the public rooms for anything except tech support, I guess. Now on this piece of paper, at the very, very bottom, it says in bold capital letters that I wrote with a pen, it says, thank you. I don't know how I can be grateful to 10,000 people. It's a ridiculous amount of people. That's like a town. More than a town. Pretty sure I've been in towns, lived in towns that have more than 10,000 people. It's dumbfounding. I have more to come. I have more videos to make. And I'm definitely not done yet. I want to thank every single person who's ever seen a Denshi video. I want to thank every single person who's ever talked to me, every single person who's ever subscribed or seen my music or not even been exposed to my videos, but just been exposed to me in general. Everybody. All of my friends, family, because I would have gotten nowhere without anybody else. So yeah, I've been Denshi. That was my comfy guide to making videos. Goodbye.
Get ready? Change in hair color to rust, general fatigue, diarrhea, loss of muscle mass, failure to grow, gain weight, swelling, body rashes, shock, damage immune system, and more, and causes a lack of growth in the child.
Nani? Boku no Pico fan! Hatsune Miku fan! Why are you here? Me? I'm here to record reading Jaiden Animation's fanfiction with Denshi draws. That's my job. You're trying to steal my content? Your content? All your content is acting like a retard on the internet in front of strangers. That's what I am! I am a retard! So am I.
Have you ever considered that maybe your incessant need to change yourself in the face of external changes, i.e. the changing of your house, isn't going to do anything but get rid of your character and originality? Artificial changes, like going from a Linux nerd to a BSD nerd, are not reflections of a deeper change in character. Maybe you should just stop being angry.
I'm going to install OpenBSD on the president's computer. Nobody can stop me. I'm coming for you, Biden.
There I was turning a burn.
And a giant Nike hoodie. It was a ginormous hoodie that took up the space of the whole room.
In school, you have to top up your food account, so I topped up $300 that good for a tomato. Oh,
You got your priorities.
Denshi great again, and it is going to be perfect. But Marge, that Arch Linux thing sounds like a virus.
Honey, don't hit me! Please, don't hit me!
You're distracted, my Nintendo Switch, get fucking clever snubbed!
We'll bring vegan things to. Well, my God, vegans.
Disgusting.
Ah, man, how many times I freaking hate vegans ever since freaking high school. This one vegan kid, he kept saying lies about my faith, saying that Catholics are evil. Obama 666 or some shit.
But Dave and Jaiden looked at each other with evil look in their eyes and dragged me to the recording room. They are being sent to Brazil. I'm sorry, you are not being saved.
Smell tips! Linus, smell tips! Goodbye, and don't forget, the French will conquer your country. You have nothing you can do about this. We will be there, we will grab your stuff, and we will keep your stuff. And yeah, there is nothing. We don't talk about World War II.
http://www.googleism.com/index.htm?ism equals love and type equals 2.
Jonesy25 from Fortnite.
Oh my god! It's Fortnite Jones!
That's butter.
Butter coming out of the pram.
Exotic butters.
I can't wear a mask because I have like sensory problems with like the so most people don't understand, but the like a week ago I was out and a guy fucking spat on me and like yelled at me to wear a mask, and he was like, wear a mask. He's like, wear a mask, and I looked behind me and he looked exactly like the fucking soy chat. Taxidermy Garfield with fucking sunglasses.
Alright. So you might recognize the set from my Dumbo video, this very, very small, kind of disorganized attic set. There's this stereo over here, there's all these various books and things that give it that kind of scrappy, Denshi feel. But one thing I did find was this tape recorder. And I don't actually know what's on this, so we're going to listen to this and figure it out.
Is it really possible to use OpenBSD as a daily driver?
Now I did find a few more interesting things in this room. First of all, that's the Dumbo cassette from the video I made about Dumbo, which I filmed in this room. I also found the first ever DVD where I burned Linux on. It's this Ubuntu 16.04, the LTS version. And I found a magazine from 2017, a Linux magazine, and it came with this little DVD that had Arch Linux on it. And I remember trying to boot this up and figure this out when I was like 12, and I couldn't. So, and for anyone who's a bit more acute with your eyesight, you might have seen this stereo, and actually this radio. You might recognize this if you've been to my website, because it's the background image I use. And in my channel banner, I have the same thing. It's, I think, this radio placed on top of this stuff, a few more combined items. I'll put the original image on screen. And another thing was this Denshi, like, floppy disk, just a blue floppy disk. I don't think it has anything on it, but it just says Denshi on it. And I think over here is the box for a very old 90s computer, which I think I actually had in that collage. If you open this up and turn it on, it actually has Windows 95 on it. Let's see. Yeah, I think the battery is dead, but yeah, this was in that image as well. I'll put that up on screen. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of Denshi related history in other places. It's just really a lot of stuff that's hiding all around the set. And if you've got an acute eyesight, you might be able to spot some other interesting items that you recognize from this room. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this place.